the intersection of human resource management, leadership, and psychology in organizational success. And as Melako had already explained, I probably might go over a little bit of the leadership theories, but not too much in detail. But as I had a little chat with Dr. Arshi during the present preparation. And so I'm kind of going to connect with how the leadership theories and what we've learned in the past in the chapter 1 of our course connects together. So the problem today is that many organizations kind of face, because of the rapid change, not only in the location, geography, but also in the talents, new technology, and all the stuff, they have a challenge to reach high performance. So for that, in any performance matters, leadership and leaders make quite a bit of impact. This is quite a few studies have been done by talent management teams and HR on how an effective leader brings better results in an organization. So today I'm going to go ahead and this is where Melako had started. So we kind of, as I researched, there is about 10 or 11 leadership styles, and there's about 6 or 7 leadership theories. So theories are the one which, so what's the difference? The difference is that theory studies the styles of the leaders, and the leadership styles are the ways or the methods the leaders use to manage their teams. So that's the differentiator between the two. I'm sure people who prepared along with me realize that the great man theory was one theory which was used early in the 1900s to show that leaders are born, and this particular theory is totally out of fashion or out of, after a lot of research, this theory has just taken a back seat. And currently the most, which is the theory that is being most applied for research and in organizations is the transformational or relationship theory. And this is mainly because in the transformational leadership, the leaders motivate and inspire through their enthusiasm and through their passion. And also it kind of that style of leadership makes the people reach out to the higher echelons of the Maslow's theory. And during a transformational leadership, a transformational leader can also use at times the transactional management style as well. In any case, none of these, any particular style may not be the only style that might be used by a leader. So the best style for a leader to use is a situational theory or situational style, because at each stage or different stage of an organization, different styles are required. But in my own personal relationship with different managers in different industries over the years, I kind of think transformational along with the transactional style really works very, very well because it motivates the employees. So moving on, also the transformational leaders create a clear and compelling vision for the future. So all those theories which we learned on strategy and management, they all become very much applicable for a transformational leader, because he or she comes with he has the future of the organization is in his mind. He comes with a transformative mindset. They come with a compelling vision, not only for themselves, for their organizations, for their employees, and for the society as such. So that's why such leaders are kind of very, very focused. So they set up visions, they set up long-term goals, they align and change systems and develop and train others. These are all styles that the transformational leaders use. So when they have to set up a vision, or when they have to move ahead with the current vision and move the organization to a different level, that is where all those management frameworks which we learned, or which we revised, which we learned in our masters, which we revised in the last 8 weeks, comes into place with strategic planning. So in the management frameworks, there are about 3 or 4 different categories. Strategic planning is one of them, change management, and organizational development models. All these will be used by a transformational leader depending on where the organization is. So for my case study, I took Shell, the energy company, because previously, prior to my current position, I worked for the largest nuclear energy project in the world. And so I really learned a lot about how all these strategies and how the different, whatever we learned was totally applied in that company. So I wanted to take something from there, and so I took an energy company as a model for this. So Shell basically is one of the largest energy companies. That's their vision, is to be the world's leading integrated energy company. And based on their strategy, they developed 4 different themes for their reporting, which is generating shareholder value, achieving net zero emissions, respecting nature, and powering lives. And usually the big 4 or the consultants always, most of the time, develop a strategy house where it has a vision at the top, and then it has these 4 or 5 themes of strategy for the organization as a whole. Probably from Shell, we can understand that those might be those 4 there: develop low and zero carbon alternative, provide more renewable power solutions, work with customers across different sectors to help them decarbonize, and then address any remaining emissions. So based on these 4, the divisions under the corporate and the operations develop further strategies as a divisional strategy level. And in each of these, for each of the strategy levels, the SWOT analysis can be conducted to understand what is the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. And also sometimes value analysis is also sometimes done at the divisional level as well. So I took okay. So the strengths, and so I basically took the report 2024 Shell annual strategy report and took the case study and prepared this particular presentation for us to discuss. So their strengths were that a vertically integrated operation. It has a strong exploration and tech capability. It has a strong market position and brand. Their weakness is there mainly the human rights and environmental issues. They have an ethical code of conduct, and also the weakness is the scale and size. They almost operate in 70 nations. So the scale and size to manage that is a weakness for them. Their opportunity is their innovation and technology. They're technologically very, very forward, and the rising global energy demand and delivering new projects. The threat is basically the competitors, the government policies. I'm sorry, it's missing in my box. The government issues, the regulations, and also their other competitors. And also the other threat is the buyers themselves, because they have only 7 or 8 major buyers, so that they really don't have a big, huge market to sell to. So the columns on the left is the positive side, and the columns on the right is the negatives. And the top row is the internal, and the bottom row is the external. So based on this, the strength and weakness and the opportunities and threats, we could come up with the next level of strategy or objectives, and then come up with the KPIs and KPRs. So this is this is again at the next level. So basically, The strategy is on that 4 themes of strategy. For the 4 themes of strategy, Shell had developed these sub-levels of strategy for each one of their reporting things. So for generating shareholder value, they had four strategic points, and then for achieving net zero emissions, again they had 4, so forth. So so the strategy could also be this is basically on their basically on what they were going to report on, but the strategy could also be developed along their business activity. The business activities were integrated gas, upstream, chemicals and products, renewables and energy solutions, and marketing. So on those as well, they could, if you are a big organization or a corporate like Shell, which is across multicultural, it's a multinational corporation, then we could develop strategies on their reporting structures as well. So I did initially the Porter's 5 forces model for Shell's market analysis. So their main, I'm just going to share only a few things on this. So on their bargaining power of suppliers, we can see that the suppliers, basically for the oil industry, they need very specialized equipment. So sometimes the suppliers themselves, and they are very high investment as well, and it needs technological expertise. So what primarily happens is they usually have strategic partnerships with their suppliers. So that's one of the threats for them. The other one is the bargaining power of the customers. This again is because their customers are very huge customers, and that's one of the issues for them. The competitive rivalry, their market competitive, they have a very competing market, and they're not the largest. So Exxon market's capitalization is about 400 billion, while Shell's capitalization is only 190 billion. They're not the largest, so they have to compete harder. So, and then their global competitive dynamics is another thing, because there are only 7 companies, 7 integrated energy companies, and Shell particularly is in 70 companies. So these are some of the challenges for them. The answer so I also did an answer model, because Shell is primarily moving into alternate energy, and one of their primary strategies is to achieve net zero by, I think, 2050 or something. You can see on the right column. So what they are focusing on is primarily to move into LNG products. They are the largest LNG acquirers of LNG companies, and technology-wise, they're developing so many new methods to reduce carbon. So I did an answer matrix for them. During one of our classes, someone had asked, what's the difference between market product development and diversification? So I just put this here for whoever it was needed. So developing new products for existing markets is so it's in the existing market. The new products is product development versus diversification. Sorry, someone needs something? Yeah, diversification is creating new products for new markets. So here, what Shell had done was market diversification, because as you know, with the new pressure on all the energy companies to go into low carbon, their focus in the last 5-10 years has been on market diversification. One of the things that working on is they've installed more than 70,000.
Mr. Delano, Mr. Delano, can you shut your mic?
So they have installed about 70,000 public charge points for electric vehicles, and I think by 2025 they want to reach about 2030 they want to reach about 250,000 charge points. Also, they've also sorry. They also developed consulting services in which they generated 1.3 billion just in 2022. They're also working on carbon trading and environmental credit markets. So these are all new areas where they're trying to diversify. And in the market development and market penetration, what they've achieved is they have achieved as I said, they are focusing more on LNG. So what they've done is they have the first floating LNG facility off the coast of Australia, and it had a record production in 2024. Then they are, when I said they are technically savvy in the energy industry, they have been working on deep water platform the past 50 years. So they started their first deep water platform production in January 2025, and then they also acquired the LNG portfolio of a specific company in Singapore. They've also divested in Abu Dhabi to invest in a LNG project, which is a low carbon intensity rather than a traditional LNG project. So they've been doing market penetration plus also market development. At the same time, they're kind of slightly on the verge of market diversification as well and product development. And LNG Canada is the largest private sector energy company, and they have invested in that. So they are looking at government entities, they're looking at private entities, they are looking at low carbon industries. So they kind of, I thought Ansoff market kind of brings in what they're doing. And then finally, I also worked on the VRIO framework for the Shell company. So they also work market expansion. They also moved into the first ever in the Atlantic Ocean. They first got their first LNG facility in the Atlantic in Trinidad and Tobago. And one more thing, in their product development, they're working very much on the hydrogen production, and that's one of the newest products in the energy sector, which is highly used for all EV vehicles, and everybody produces hydrogen. There's green, blue, pink, and purple hydrogen these days. So each energy industry produces its own hydrogen. So what is that which is setting Shell apart from the other energy companies is their deep water expertise. They have 5 decades of deep water expertise. The second is their integrated gas and LNG capability. And then they are the world leading LNG business and with a global network of customers. The third is their technology and innovation. They have global network of R&D centers, and they work very closely with their customers and suppliers to come up with digital solutions for transport and transport of hydrogen, transport of their products. And finally, their integrated business model using trading and optimization. So they purchased, their value chains are enhanced by the purchase from third parties, and they have a global position in the energy markets. So I think, yeah, those are my references. So basically, those are some of the strategy frameworks we learned in our first coursework. So I wanted to apply it, and using these kind of strategy frameworks, a transformational leader can bring about a change within the organization. And as Miliku had mentioned, along for developing transformation, that was another thing which I had covered, but not covered in the presentation, but in my research for preparing this. The main thing that research is being done is on EQ and also on cultural intelligence. That's the newest thing. So how well, I just want to put this question across to each of you so that as we prepare our as we go researching, we'll think on those like how good a leader, a transformational leader can be in a third country, in a country that he doesn't belong to, nor does his company belong to. So how are the HR policies applied, or how does the HR policy impact the development of the leader? Thank you.